Chapter 5 has come to an end, and it was a very questionable chapter. So let's go back and look at everything that has happened throughout the chapter. This video was made by Top 5 Gaming, so make sure to check the video out, link in the description.
In the time leading up to Fortnite Chapter 5, most players labeled it a dead game.
Fortnite is dead? Yeah, I will not be
That's
playing
true.
this
Fortnite is a dead game.
I hate to be that guy. Fortnite is dead.
But with
But it was.
Fortnite OG,
It was.
Epic not only revived the game, but made it thrive. And as everyone rejoined, Phase 2 of the plan started.
This event was like it was basically a marketing technique. It was like you know, it was just advertisement, but it was a good event. I'll give them that. Lego Fortnite was amazing.
This is the entire history of Chapter 5, what many consider Fortnite's second life.
Was it?
All eyes were now on the new Battle Royale island. We always get a fresh one, but this felt different. Sure, there are new POIs and bosses, but not a single person was expecting Peter Griffin.
Yep, big up Peter Griffin.
The best part was hiding at Snooty Steps, a brand new location that was fit for a king, with a fountain chiseled into his statue and a flag declaring this place as Petoria. Then, if you went to the largest building in town,
Why have I
find
never
Peter
heard that name
himself
before?
ready to fight you. He was just one of the many bosses in Chapter 5 that now had more use than ever. If you eliminated any of them, you'd be rewarded with the brand new medallion feature. Gone were the days of reality augments. Now the perks have been turned into coins, and collecting them gave you a massive advantage. For each medallion you pick up, your location became more obvious to enemies. But in return, you get shield regeneration, which increased the more coins you held. And after years of begging, Fortnite
Medallions was a really cool
anticipated
feature
updates
that
of all time,
they added
trains.
into Fortnite.
As soon as we launched
medallions
into the chapter,
are
the
a cool
first thing you
feature.
saw was a high-speed engine heading straight for us. Players rushed to gain control of it because of the mysterious cash reward. Except all this excitement would quickly turn to horror. All that effort for basic loot. We waited so long for this. and
It's
now that
just
it was here,
blue
fans
loot.
were disappointed. It was easy to move
So
on,
bad.
and we learned of a much bigger change. Something that would be part of Fortnite's guns forever. Weapon attachments were finally here after 6 years in the making, allowing us to go to workbenches and deck out our guns with all kinds of mods. Whether it was sights, suppressors, grips, anything was possible. This also meant any gun could be changed to first person, and all weapons you pick up on the ground had mods already equipped. In fact, it was
Yeah.
harder to find a gun that wasn't modded. So far, the graphics
Every
were
gun
new,
is
the
modded.
map was fresh,
Every
guns
single
were
one.
different, and now it was time for the biggest core update, movement. The entire way our characters walked around was
movement.
different, with totally new animations that hadn't been changed for half a decade. At first, the community absolutely hated it, calling it one of the worst updates of all time. It's especially because the movement
I agree.
changed for the first time ever, which no one was used to.
The movement
Some
was pretty
people
bad.
even threatened to quit the game. Fortnite was pretty determined to make sure we all got over it, although the backlash was so huge they were forced to make a statement. The problem wasn't the new animations, it was the speed. So Fortnite listened to players and tweaked everything to make sure our flow was the same as it's been for 6 years. It still wasn't the biggest change. That is all the result of the Big Bang event I showed you earlier. This thing revealed the brand new vision for the game, the metaverse. Now fans could choose to play huge survival worlds like Lego Fortnite, which had over 2 million players at launch. It was a massive success, and Epic went out of their way to turn thousands of outfits into minifigures for no extra cost.
Lego Fortnite
Then
was
they
so
revamped
good.
vehicles just in time for rocket racing. While
Yeah.
this was the least successful mode, you can now buy custom skins for your car, something that's been hugely popular with players.
Not a fan
And a
of
single
Rocket
car
Racing.
would now work across Rocket League, Rocket Racing, and Battle Royale. It would open the door to people's dream collabs like McLaren and Lamborghini. So far, Fortnite had covered survival, racing, and now it's time to bring music into the metaverse. A plan Donald Mustard revealed had been on their whiteboard since 2017. Festival was here with The Weeknd as a headlining act. Finally, we could put our jam tracks to good use instead of playing them as lobby music. They were now fully working rhythm games. And the coolest part, they turned into emotes where you could play any instrument in VR with friends, mixing and matching songs to create your own. Now don't forget this new chapter was here in December, just in time for the holidays, and there's no better way to celebrate than our annual Winterfest update. Except this would turn out to be a total disappointment. Instead of the cabin that everyone loved, fans were treated to a quest menu. Yeah, your daily presents were now just a button.
They didn't even have the cabin. You know when
Instead,
Fortnite,
the cabin was turned into a whole POI
I don't know.
map known as Winterbird. Sadly,
They
there
just
wasn't much
mess
to
it
do
up
other than
so
open present
bad.
chest, which had some rare loot, but thankfully there was a more exciting box to open. Hiding inside was of course Solid Snake. He took everyone
I
by
forgot he was
surprise
in the
with whole
game.
Metal Gear Solid collab, letting us hide in a cardboard box just like the games. In fact, the original creeping cardboard was inspired by Solid Snake, so this was a long time coming. To make it better, Snake even brought his own EMP device, which is one of the better invisibility items we've gotten.
Yes.
Along with Raiden, a character fans have been desperate to get their hands on. But Fortnite was about to treat us to an even bigger collab, one that would become its own mini event.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This was a good collab. It was a very good collab.
Chapter 4 had already brought these guys to Fortnite, but now they were back bigger than ever with their own mythic weapons, a shredder outfit, and an entire mini pass. But there were some others. Fans were already turning their attention to the new main characters of the storyline. Jones, which I guess technically isn't new, but Hope. They kickstarted a new original story for the island as they hunted down a mythical artifact known as Pandora's Box. At first, we thought this was just a simple teaser for Season 2, but it would turn out to be so much more. For now though, it was broken open, officially making our way into the next big season, Greek mythology.
I'm not really sure how I feel about this season. I'm gonna be honest. This season, it felt good, but I feel like it was still a letdown. The POIs were cool. I like the locations.
We had finally gotten another season where the whole battle pass was shaped around a unique theme. Taking over as the lead, we had the king of the gods, Zeus, and he was sitting atop the biggest POI of Chapter 5, Mount Olympus. Not only was this a location, it was an entire biome. Something truly worthy of a king. You could see it from miles away, and Zeus had a
It's
massive
such a
statue
nice
overlooking the
POI.
city. Although eyes were on the much smaller statue in the square, because once you activated it, it would summon Zeus himself. He would also turn out to be the first NPC boss to ever have multiple stages. Once he took out his first health bar, he'd call for backup. Once you wiped these out, waves of guards would spawn just in time for the final stage, and this is where you'd be rewarded with worthy loot. It was 2 whole mythics
Worthy
and a
loot!
medallion. This season, they decided
Worthy
to do it the
loot!
best way possible.
No!
Instead of just handing you shield regen, every medallion had a special ability for each Greek god. Zeus would hand you the aspect of speed. You could probably guess what it did. Not only extra speed, but super jumps. Although his mythic thunderbolt was just as powerful.
You shall suffer!
It wasn't the only beloved item. You could get in the air in other ways, like with the wings of Icarus. This single item unlocked an entirely new type of movement, flying.
I've got you in my sights.
You could get them from brand new golden chests. But over at Brawler's Battleground, there was Ares, the god of war, who would give players a mythic AR and a medallion that increased long-range damage. It's pretty underwhelming compared to the others like Hades, who had his own biome with the underworld. There was a massive pool of green water that gave you skull dashes. They were basically reskin 0-point crystals that let you blink around. Although the main
Good
event
movement.
was Hades himself, who had an insanely cool boss fight.
I was never really a fan of the boss fights. I just thought it was just way too much effort to get the mythics.
You drop a medallion that basically brought back Siphon. Every time you got a kill with it equipped, you'd earn health back. Not to mention, his chains were incredible. But there was a character no one expected to see hiding in the underworld. Someone who has been a
Midas
for over 4 years. After breaking his soul out of the underworld, we were treated to a whole Flora's Lava LTM themed around Midas. And this is where we began to say goodbye to a character whose story has been in limbo for a very long time. As he met up with his former teammates, they sailed away on the infamous yacht. Yet the season had way too much in store for us.
It's kind of crazy how Midas is like one of the biggest characters in Fortnite, and the way Fortnite said goodbye to Midas was sending him away on the boat.
It was a crazy item that restored health and gave you the effects of Zeus's medallion. Except despite everything being themed,
Fortnite have zero creativity.
There was one person that stuck out amongst
Well, they do,
others.
but
Our
clearly
secret
not
outfit,
for Midas's
Korra.
goodbye.
Yeah, despite the fact this whole pass was designed from the ground up to be Greek, Korra was shoved in here as an advertisement for the next update, Avatar. Now, people eventually stopped complaining when they realized just how good this collab would turn out to be. It was a weeks-long event with its own mini-pass, bringing Aang and other characters to the game with crazy mythics. In fact, one of them might have been a little too insane. Around this time, Festival was also blowing players' minds. It had just come off a run of The Weeknd and Lady Gaga, and now the third headliner was yet another world-famous singer, Billie Eilish. They were on fire.
I
at this
avoided
point,
Festival
and so was
as
Lego.
much as I
Now it was
could.
May the 4th, and they were able to design an entire season around Star Wars.
Star
With a
Wars,
mini
yes.
pass, a huge new island, and even Festival got in on the action with instruments and jam tracks. As usual, the main event was in Battle Royale, as we braced for one of the biggest Star Wars collabs of all. Death Troopers, Lando, and a new Luke outfit came to the shop, as we got to enjoy Chewbacca joining the game with blasters and a Wookiee bow.
I feel like it was the
Oh,
worst.
and there's also a
The worst,
Mandalorian card for
Star
some
Wars
reason. It was
update.
pretty weird, but we'll take
I
it.
liked,
Despite all of these insane updates,
I liked the
little did we
Chapter
know
4 one.
Fortnite had yet another
I think
big
that was
event
my
in store
favorite.
for us. It was the first time in years that we had multiple back-to-back.
Oh yeah, we got like mini events every single season. They were cool. But like, I wanted more. Nuh-uh. Get this out of here.
Turns out the box had unleashed yet another cast of characters, as the Greek gods are pushed to the side like they were nothing. Now, another massive biome had appeared, this one taking up half the map. Welcome to the Wasteland, ruled by the Tier 100 battle
Worst
pass skin
season
Megalodon.
of
As you
all
saw, you landed
time.
on the island in a massive
I would
cargo
rather
ship.
play
Turns out
Chapter
this is
2
LPY,
Season
Brutal
6.
Beachhead. It had tons of loot and a throne room just for Megalodon. But that
Primal
wasn't the
Season.
scariest
Give
part.
it to me.
There was also a
Get rid of the
boss.
Wasteland.
Like Zeus, Megalodon
I
would hop
hated
in a
it.
car and actually drive around the wasteland to make sure that everything was under his control. If you swooped in and defeat him, you'd be rewarded with, of course, a new medallion. This revealed Unlimited Nitro, a brand new consumable just for Season 3. Nitro did all kinds of things, boosting cars to give them infinite fuel, or buffing players with faster movement, quicker reloads, no fall damage. It was ridiculous.
The
You could
Nitro
walk on
Splash,
water.
yes.
Although this loop
That was
pool
good.
also introduced a new type of melee item that was very controversial. Nitro Fists were insanely overpowered on day 1 of the season, basically turning players into Doomfist from Overwatch. To make things crazier, players were finding mythic Nitro Fist from Megalodon's boss. It was very sought after, especially because he also dropped a mythic combat shotgun. But the dude was
The
packed.
mythics
Even
were
his
good.
car was
I'll give him
ridiculous.
that.
Whenever you defeated a boss in Season 3, you get their vehicle. Let me tell you, these boss cars would start a chain reaction that caused players to uninstall the game in waves. That brings me to by far the biggest change for the Wasteland, upgradable cars.
Oh.
I'm not exaggerating when I say it was basically impossible to win a match without being in a vehicle. They were everywhere, whether it was boss cars with thousands of health, people spamming turrets, or players camping on repair boxes, you couldn't escape it. In fact, Epic were so focused on designing the season around cars, they built a whole arena in the middle of the desert just for vehicle combat. This was the Nitro Drone, full of spinning blades and power-ups. Here you'd find Ringmaster Scar, who dropped an insane medallion. For some reason, Epic thought it'd be a good idea to give people higher damage and unlimited ammo. That's right, you'd also get a mythic crossbow that was exclusive.
Yeah,
to
I
Season
like
3.
that medallion.
Not only was this mod
Infinite ammo.
explosive arrows, so imagine combining this with unlimited ammo. One of the
so
surprising parts of the
overpowered.
season had to be its most anticipated crossover. For a wasteland theme, nothing was more perfect than bringing Fallout to the game. Yep, you can now find Nuka-Cola around the map, which was even more powerful than a slurp juice, and fans were desperate to get their hands on the Battle Pass skin T60 power armor. Personally though, I think the Pip-Boy backbling was even cooler. It would tell you your limb count and show all kinds of stuff. We can't forget about the secret skin. You know how I mentioned Korra earlier? More specifically, how everyone thought she didn't fit the theme at all? Well, Epic actually tried to fix it this time, giving us Wastelander Magneto. This was an original version of the classic character built just to fit the theme. If only we knew how important he would become towards the end. As the season went on, more surprises were in store for us. Metallica showed up with a UEFN concert, festival
I
pass,
wasn't a fan
and
of
mythic
Metallica.
lightning guitar.
I'm gonna be
The
honest.
icing on the cake is when we are shocked by the return of OG Fortnite. No one was expecting it to happen so quickly, yet here it was,
Reload,
in the form
yes.
of Reload. There's a brand new permanent game mode that takes place
Best
on a
part
small
of this
island with
season.
nostalgic POIs.
I'm
It
telling you now,
instantly
it
smashed
really
records,
was.
gaining millions of players and becoming iconic. To this day, they're still updating Reload with new weapons, modes, and soon it'll even get a new map in time for Fortnite Remix. However,
Woo!
we should have been paying more attention to Battle Royale as Epic continue to drop hints about what comes next, with Pirates of the Caribbean hitting
Yes!
the store. With its own mini pass, we
My
can now play as
favorite
Jack
collab
Sparrow
from
and Davy
Chapter
Jones.
5.
They did not stop there. This iconic Disney collab was just the beginning, with tons of items dropping in game, like the brand new ship in a bottle. Not to mention, we got a taste of nostalgia all the way from Chapter 1 as pirate cannons and buried treasure returned after years. This was just a taste of the Disney overload that was about to hit Chapter 5. Deadpool and Wolverine were here in time to celebrate the new MCU film, and this bundle was a total hit. This is the moment Disney took to the stage at D23 and revealed the future of Fortnite. Not only were they cooking up new villains, Pixar and Star Wars crossovers, their upcoming mode was closer than ever to releasing. So while we waited, another collab was happening. It felt endless. This
Oh,
time it
Fall
was
Guys.
The update had been in the works for years, and finally it was on the map. A huge obstacle course that turned you into a
forgot
bee.
about Fall
If
Guys.
only we realized how short this would be, considering it was added in the final week of Season 3 and would never appear on the BR map again. Luckily, we were distracted by something Epic had been teasing right under our noses. In these final weeks, a bunker had appeared on the map, and as the door was breached open, we realized it was related to Magneto. He'd been crafting his own story in the background, breaking Weapon X from the bunker, before realizing something strange was going on. And yeah, fans had noticed it too, considering they were being stalked by a random figure for weeks at this point.
The
If you got close to
Wanderer.
this Wanderer, he'd vanish before you could touch him. It was honestly pretty creepy, and there are so many theories as to who or what this could be. They were secretly working with Megalodon to refuel a ship at Brutal Beachhead, and map changes showed a pipeline running all the way from Redline Rig to his
Was
fuel tank.
the
As
Wanderer,
Nitro floated to his ship, the
like,
countdown
who was the
appeared,
Wanderer? Wasn't it
officially
Dr.
beginning
Doom?
the end of
Wasn't that who it
Season 3.
was?
Fate is sealed, Wastelanders. Enjoy your
Except, not everything was as it seemed. It turns out the Wanderer was someone we knew all along.
The explosion was cool.
It was time for the biggest season of Chapter 5.
Best season of
Absolute
Chapter
Doom.
5. I think everybody agrees on me with that one.
Wanderer was now unmasked. Doom
Yes.
manipulated Megalodon so he could uncover Pandora's box, the thing that has tied every season together. With this newfound power, he was able to conquer the island. If you were in any doubt, all you had to do was look at it. The map was now covered in Doom's influence, with an entire castle full of dead superheroes. I'm not joking, we landed at this place and there's literally a trophy room full of corpses. Man wiped out Fantastic Four, Thanos, Galactus, no wonder he's so terrifying. It wasn't even done. Near the castle, there was an extreme.
He wasn't even that powerful.
We'll get to that in a second.
He was
It
dead
also held
within
our
the
villain of
hour.
Season, Doom Bot. Yeah, ruling the place for him, he left a robot to sit on the throne. In the battle, it was pretty tough. His medallion would give you straight up siphon, while his mythic was the powerful return of the classic Chapter 2 powers. Now Doom's mystical bombs and arcane gauntlets were a single item, and it wasn't the only return. We could finally run around with Captain America's shield again. We hadn't been able to use this since the Avengers buried treasure in Chapter 1. So when we finally got our
Was it
hands on
really that
again,
long?
There were some major upgrades. It would deflect all bullets, even when you weren't using it, and throwing it was basically aimbot.
Oh yeah.
They even added a charge that let you send enemies flying. We would quickly realize just how broken this thing is, as players discovered a glitch with the return feature. Basically, once you throw it, it comes back to you, except it'll destroy anything in its way. Now this item no longer belonged to Cap. Turns out he left the shield in the hands of a new battle pass.
Captain Jones.
Jones. Suddenly everyone's favorite character was now wearing the armor, and he wasn't the only mashup. Remember the bunker from season 3? Well, it wasn't just Weapon X that broke out of here. You could find a banana in one of the tanks, and now it all made sense. Wolverine was now a battle pass skin. And we got some actual superheroes too, like Gwenpool, one of the most anticipated characters of the season. At the start, she was trapped inside the raft, another huge POI that fans were starting to love. Once we broke her out, she brought an insane item, dual SMGs. Our tier 100 skin was none other than Shuri. Alongside her outfit, we got to play around with her Black Panther claws, although they were nothing compared to the first superpower. These came at the hands of War
Oh my
Machine.
God.
Got not one, not two, but 3 powers on the island. You can pick up an auto turret backpack that just fired at enemies with no remorse.
This was
Then
so
you can pair it with
broken.
these hover jets to fly around.
So
And to make it
broken.
stronger, this thing refueled itself. To complete the set, you can find his main item, War Machine's Arsenal. Not only do you already have hover jets and a shoulder turret, this would now give you a missile launcher.
Like,
This
how are
Marvel
you
season was huge.
how are you
And it
supposed to
wasn't the
escape that?
superheroes we could play as. Mysterio was on the map protecting Latveria, and his boss battle was made perfectly. Sadly, when you took him out, you wouldn't get the ridiculous cloning ability. No, we get something much worse, the Mysterio Stealth Medallion. Now, every time you crouched, and to make it worse, you couldn't shoot your gun while invisible. So instead of giving you an advantage, this medallion banned you from crouch shooting and even marked you on the map anyway. Players immediately knew how dumb this was. Within hours of downtime ending, this thing became a laughingstock. But not every power was useless. Epic got some items right, like Emma Frost's. So when you
Yes.
fought her, she had a pretty cool ability. We were hoping this would be her mythic, but instead she dropped a medallion that turned out to be just as powerful. Every so often, it would ping nearby enemies, just like a hired NPC, and her mythic striker burst was busted. The mods on the thing was insane. But secretly, we were all hoping for someone else to arrive. After all,
Iron
he was
Man.
basically exclusive to Chapter 2, and everyone who missed out needed to play as him again. I'm talking about Tony Stark. He's one of the only superheroes in Fortnite to not get countless reskins. At least if you missed out on Spider-Man in Chapter 3, there's a ton of item shop versions, unlike Iron Man. So with this in mind, Epic had something special planned, an entire update themed around Tony. In the middle of the season, they dropped the Mark 45, taken straight from Age of Ultron. Interesting choice, but we were quickly forgiving when we realized the insane items that he brought with him. His mythic from the original Marvel season had been totally revamped into 2 different items. Dropping onto the map were Stark Pods, containing the Combat Kit, which had Energy Blast and a Unibeam, and then the Flight Kit, easily the coolest mythic of the season. It was around this time Fortnite did
Every time I
used
used that mythic, I always
Marvel
missed.
history, next to impossible to get. Now there was a chance that Loot Island could be taken over by Doom. And by chance, I mean 5%. You had to survive like 10 minutes just to see if it would appear, and spoiler alert, it mainly didn't. If you're somehow lucky
I
enough to
never
find
got
it,
the Doom Island.
will reward you with
I
power
never
you
got
haven't
it.
seen since Thanos in 2018, the Ultra Doom Armor.
I never got to play as Doom.
It was so rare that players were unhappy, begging Epic to make it usable. And I could see why. Once you had this thing, the win was pretty much guaranteed. Not only was it just like Thanos' power beam, but you even got Siphon and other insane abilities. So Fortnite agreed to make it easier to find, but only for a week. After that, it would go back to being ultra rare, although the best chance of getting one was about to reveal itself.
Oh, the Day of Doom.
And as sure as the sun shall rise, there will always be doom. When you throw blows in a nice fight,
This was such a cool trailer for a game mode.
To the head was the bottle. One more time to make sure them dead block holes. And today will forever be known as Doomsday.
The classic endgame LTM from all those years ago had finally
This was
been
so
revealed,
rigged at
letting
the
us know
start.
Doom and his
It was always a
endgame
one-sided
plays up.
thing.
It was a pretty controversial mode, as it originally started off super one-sided. If you were on the Avengers side, you could win most of the time, so Epic made changes to fix it, only to make it one-sided the other way. And it's crazy when you
Yeah.
look back and realize
It was
how many
always
insane
so
updates
rigged.
were crammed into one season. Like in the background of all this happening, we were getting
Incredibles!
collab after collab that had nothing to do with Marvel. Whether it was Carol G and Festival, Colombo taking over Lego, or the
Colombo.
Incredibles distracting everyone. It was non-stop. They followed this up with two brand new Icon series characters, giving us Rubius and Shaquille O'Neal. But that didn't take away from the Marvel theme, as Epic were preparing for a mini event like nothing before it. Chapter 5 was about to get its first true boss battle, as that Tower of Smoke I
True
mentioned
boss
earlier was
battle.
hosting Doom's secret plan. Turns out he had
You
been
just got
using this to
4
summon
players
Marvel's
shooting
devil,
at Doom
Mephisto,
for an hour.
And now it was time to stop him.
I love this cinematic. It's so good. Best part of the event. So cool.
Fire! Rift activated!
Same fate Galactus had.
While it was amazing that all of this happened in a regular BR match, fans were left wondering, is that it? We just had
Yeah.
an entire chapter worth of build up towards this. Doom was even
Was
wearing
that it?
Pandora's box
That's
armor.
exactly
But
what I
turns out
thought
Doom
as
was
well.
just a roadblock, and in fighting him, he launched rift beacons all over the map that were malfunctioning, bringing Fortnite mares to the
Fortnite
map.
mares.
POIs are taken over
Best
by Tom
Fortnite
Hanks.
mares.
We got a remix Fatal Fields, all while we were treated to some
Freaky
of the most
Fields.
iconic horror characters in the world, like when you approach this TV.
Jigsaw.
Billy would drop a mini version of himself that was deadly,
Do you
also
want
kind
to
of
play a
hilarious at
game?
the same time. Not only was Jigsaw
Leatherface.
here, we were able to play as Leatherface, and it wouldn't be worth adding him if we also didn't get the chainsaw. Fortnite Mares kept dropping banger after banger, as we got part 2 of the Nightmare Before Christmas,
Edward Scissorhands,
Disney villains.
Disney
As you know,
villains.
He announced this back at D23, and now they
We
were
got so
finally
many
doing the finish
collabs.
just in time for the final days of Chapter 5. Now we're heading into something special. As the event approaches, we'll be taken to a season that'll only last 1 month. It was time for Fortnite Remix. Hope you guys all enjoyed. It's been Tommy, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.
Chapter 5 was decent. Okay. The first season was good. The second season it was good because of the mythics and the new items and everything. Season 3 was just no. And season 4, best season. So if I had to rate it out of 10, I'd probably rate it a 6? 6 or a 7. I think I'll go with a 6. I think that's very standard. But yeah, chapter 5 was okay, and I will see you guys for the live event. And I'll see you back in chapter 2.